Oh, hey. Hello. Let's get things up and running. All right, are we good? Hello, please. Good evening. It is Winters with the One, and just doing a brief Me Fit check. We're doing some prep for tomorrow. Very little prep, but prep nonetheless. So, as the PHL Season 3 Pro Division starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. local time, I believe, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. As you know, as you esports aficionados from way back in the day know, esports is always done in Eastern time for some reason. So 8 o'clock it is. And I guess I'm guessing I don't know. It's a good bunch of guys. I mean, I talked to him for a little bit last night because, well, see, usually about this time I would have heard back. Well, first off, to say that the PHL is a very robust and strong organization. I mean, they got their shit together. The production is going to be very snazzy. They've got custom jerseys for all the teams. You know, there's goal scoring animations and replays and but see, usually by this time there would be somebody reaching out to me and being like, hey man, I know you said you were gonna do this and you've never failed to do this when asked and all that, but just to make sure we're on the same page, you know, you are going to be there, right? And see, I hadn't really heard. Well, there's a lot of moving parts in this whole thing. I mean, I'm just a guy that gets on the mic and yaps. So it's not, big on the priority list of things they're trying to pull together before game one tomorrow night. Yeah, for the most part, if all this goes like everybody tells me it is, and I feel like it is, and then we'll be doing it every Tuesday and Thursday. It won't be on this channel. I'll set it to bounce over there or something. It's the Puck Hockey League Network. They're very simple words, but if you just type them in as one word, you'll go right to it. Puck Hockey League Network. I can't make it much more simple than, well, I could make it much more simple than that, but I mean, I ain't gonna. It's Monday night, sitting here looking at rosters and team names and all that stuff and trying to familiarize myself with some of the stuff that I'll be looking at tomorrow. But we hope that you'll join us. That's going to be a lot of fun. And the first game is scheduled to be a team where every one of them you saw right here on this channel like a decade ago, the Friday Night Hockey and stuff. When I first started That would have been, oh God. When did Twitch start? Let's see, 2011? Yes. Okay, and that's when I got on with Tribescast. And, are we doing the how you got started in the industry thing? I can do that. Basically, Twitch was pretty new, but they were really pushing esports. That was the major focus at the time. And these guys at Tribescast, they were doing, cool streams of the games that were being played. And I'm a radio guy. I did FM radio for years. I did pirate internet radio for years after that. And it's always kind of been my thing. And about the only thing I never really got to do in radio was do play-by-play in sports. I tagged along a time or two and helped them set up the Marty unit. There's this little box that transmitted back to the station. They don't even need that anymore. The guy I was in a band with, he does high school football games now. And I tagged along for one of those, and he had this tiny ass USB Behringer mixer and some little interface box and his iPhone. And he plugged his mic into the little Behringer, and it was all just done right there. There was no external. I mean, he was just basically running the whole thing off his iPhone, which, wow. But in Tribescast, they had actual video footage, whereas in the original Tribes, that was, you were listening to it on real audio or something. You wanted a caster that would describe things to you because you couldn't see it for yourself. Well, you could on Tribescast, and the director, Craig, he did a really good job, I thought, of presenting the game as it was, as it looked and should be played. And so I bought a second monitor, just a cheap ass, 4x3 monitor, so I could have two monitors, because that's one of those things that you need for casting. They didn't have OBS yet, so I bought an XSplit license. And I started going in and speccing games and recording myself doing it. And spent about a week or so until I felt comfortable enough, make a little demo reel. And I sent it to Tribescast. And at the time, I don't know, with Tribescast or any organization like that, there's always going to be people that think that they can do it much better than whoever the hell is doing it right now. It's one of those things like Football Manager or something like, I'd do that. So there's always guys saying, oh, well, you need to put me on there and let me cast. I could do it. But when they replied to me, they said that nobody had ever put together in radio it'd be an air check, like a demo reel of what they did and send it in to audition. That had never happened before. Wow. And so they took a shot on me, and then I ended up being one of the guys at Tribescast. And the reason I'm thinking about this recently is because I remember the first game that they sent me to. It was I was supposed to co-stream with the guy. His name was Guitar Guy. Shout out to Guitar Guy, wherever he may be. Hope he's doing well. He was in San Diego. Yeah, great dude. That's the beginning of a many adventures with Guitar Guy and casting in later years. But we didn't know it that night. We just knew that it was kind of, I think they were kind of trying to bust my balls a little bit and, give me a little hazing because they said that Guitar Guy was from the old school, like some of the guys there. He's a solo caster. Had always done it by himself, never wanted to have a co-caster, and so they just kind of sent me in there. Said, good luck, buddy. Well, the team that was playing were from the original Tribes. The Tribes won about a decade before that night. And this was Tribes Ascend. And Guitar Guy knew every one of them. He's like, oh man, that's Stork, and he did this and he did that, and oh yeah, this guy, they won that tournament back in, blah, blah, blah. He just knew so much about each of the people who were playing. There were guys that had been playing a long time, and here they were coming back in a new game to pick up where they left off. And, well, it was at that point that I knew that I resolved to, okay, this is how I'm going to play it tonight. What I'm going to do is just try to prompt this guy whenever possible to just get him opening up and starting to talking about these guys, because it's fascinating. I mean, there's so much history of the game, and still is to this day. But I just thought, yeah, I'm just gonna say, well, what about this guy? What's he usually do here? Oh, well, usually he's gonna do a blah blah blah. Easy, right? Easy. But the program director hits me up and says, hey, I heard from Guitar Guy. He asked if you could come next week and do the cast with him again. I'm like, oh, cool. Hell yeah. It's fun, man. He's awesome. He's like, no. He's never asked for anybody like that before. So that was a nice feeling, and I never forgot that. And I hope he's still around. Get at me, man. I'm talking to everybody again, and so part of that is reconnecting with so many of the people, like from Tribescast and IBN and all the various things that I did over time. Who's left? Some of us didn't make it through the COVID or whatever, I guess. But anyway, I bring up that long anecdote not only to take up time, run you down on the clock here, but also the first game scheduled for PHL, it's pretty much like that team with Stork and all those guys. I mean, it's Meat Cell and all his guys. And it's like, now I'm in the Guitar Guy position where I can go, oh man, yeah, these guys did this, 10 years ago. Let me tell you of their feats, their daring deeds and whatnot. So everything's just kind of deja vu all over again, just in a lot of ways, because that's like 15 years ago, fam. I didn't mean to get old. I totally did not plan for it. Everything was designed for me to burn out very quickly and bring the rental car back on empty. You know what I'm saying? And so I sure did not mean to get this damn old. But I don't know, there's so much of a... You want to kind of spite the world by continuing on, don't you? I mean, that's part of the fun of it. But there's such a stigma about age these days, and it's like... I talk to a lot of people that are just kind of ashamed to be old. And it's like, no, man, you did it. You fucking did it. You're alive. Do you know how many people wish they were alive? You know, aren't there people that you wish were alive? I know I do. But they're not. And here we are. And so we've got to keep making our way, man. Every day is like a gift. I'm really starting to feel that more and more. And just because I'm back on the upward curve of that, I don't, because that's the kind of shit you don't really want to hear when you're really spiraling downward. And it's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But no, I think it's worth saying. Because like one thing that I talk about with the guys I play music with is that if I thought my best years were behind me, I would have a hard time moving forward. You know what I mean? I mean, if I thought, well, that's it. I sure had a good time, but it's all shit and downhill from here. No, I don't want to do that. You always have to feel like your best stuff is in front of you. Because that's already happened to me, in my small corner of the world, living my life several times. I ain't bullshitting. I mean, it's just like right when you think, okay, this is it. All right, we're done, so we're Jover. And then you find out you're not, which is more scarier. Ooh, but but there it is. And like a legendary esports person once told me, at the end of the day, winners with the one, it is what it is. See, that guy had a gift for being able to say shit like that and walk away, and then you just like, wow, that's something really profound. That he just, oh, wait a minute. By the time it hits you that he might not have really said much at all. You're struck by the profundity of it for a moment or two, and then just enough time to make a clean getaway. But he wasn't wrong, because it is true that at the end of the day, y'all, it is what it is. We're learning more and more. Oh, and I didn't get to tell this story last time. I think I went off on a tangent, as I tend to do, and we didn't come back to this. But there were people asking about the part in my bio because it seems so out of character for me. If you know me, you know that I'm not really especially braggadocious or anything like that. I don't like to draw attention to myself. I'm able to do a great many things because I don't take credit for them. I just kind of work quietly in the darkness and manage to accomplish a lot of things that I don't think most people know that I accomplish. So, but the thing is that they did get accomplished. But to tell the story, okay, many years ago, you know Michael Jackson, right? The singer of some renown, from a few years back. One day, his PR guy, his publicist, he does a press conference, sends out the press releases. It says something to the effect of that Michael Jackson has sold more records than anybody around the world, here and there, you know, and here are the numbers. And so, therefore, we would like for all of you to start referring to my client, Michael Jackson, as the King of Pop. Thank you, fuck you, good night. Well, the press was really angry about this, actually, because they had control of all this stuff at the time. It's like, who are you to tell us what to call you? We're the ones that tell everybody else what they get to call you. You're the fucking King of Pop. So, I'm sure if you... Is LexisNexis still a thing? If you look this up, you would see that most of the articles about Michael Jackson will say something like, sometimes known as the King of Pop. The alleged King of Pop, the so-called King of Pop. They didn't like it one damn bit. Yeah. And then, of course, the British press, it's like, Wacko Jacko, the King of Pop. Who dares to call himself the King? They went along with it, but they didn't really care for it. Well, I'm not spoiling anything because everybody knew this already. Michael Jackson dies. And if you were to LexisNexis all those headlines, it's all stuff like Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, has died. Yes. So, like, even in death, you know, he has claimed that title for himself, which nobody can deny. And so it is with tongue planted firmly in cheek, and with that story in mind, that's why you see that in my bio that there might be a reference to me as the voice of video game hockey. Because there's a few people they're not going to get that joke, and it's going to make them mad too. I've never even heard of this guy. How dare he claim that he is the voice of video game hockey? Yeah. You can bust my balls about it all you wish. But you're not seeing the long game, are you? Because when I croak, And that day may come soon. Lord of mercy. They'll have to say, or we presumably hope that they will say, rest in peace, winners with the one, the voice of video game hockey. Pack watch, Rip Bozo. Rest in peace, you won't be missed, or whatever other memery goes with it. But yeah, because I think it's funny, and so what? You speak things into being. Right. But see, we're just getting started. They should have killed me last year. I mean, but thankfully they did not. And so be where I live, to rise again yet another time. And that time is at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on the Puck Hockey League Network. It's all one word, Puck Hockey League Network. I bet by the time you get Puck Hockey League in there, it's going to auto-fill the network in for you. But that's how you get there. That's where it's going to be. And as far as the schedule says, that's where I'm going to be. So I hope that you will join me on my hockey journey. I mean, it's very meaningful to me because I played hockey. Yeah. Here locally. We had a team, and the game has always been very important to me. It was the only game I played where it felt very comfortable and natural, the movements of it, everything. I wasn't just struggling to make anything happen. It just came very easily. And so I always had a really good relationship with the game, but I was estranged from the game because I let this stuff get to me, and I know I shouldn't have, but I did, and so this whole thing, with the Puck Hockey League, it's not just, well, on one hand, it's a kind of closure as we end one chapter, which was kind of a rough one, and start the beginning of a new chapter, which sounds like a lot of fun, and something that I couldn't have even hoped for at one point. So just having all that happen is a tremendous burden off me personally. And I'm not going to go on and on about it. I'm mostly talking about it now so that we've got it out of the way, because I think it's important to start out in Puck and this new league. It's a whole different thing. You can't bring in any of the baggage or weirdness from previous days. And it's not much different than doing all the esports stuff that I've done over the years. I mean, I did a lot of it. This one kid was showing his resume today, and it's like, wow, this is all pretty impressive. And it's like, wow. hell, I don't remember half the esports things that I did or for whom, and a lot of the games don't even exist anymore. They're just, or just stuff that I forgot we even did casts for. Like, do you remember Alliance of Valiant Arms? Yeah, and Arctic Combat and all these weird free-to-play shooter kind of things. There's so much stuff like that. And the stuff we did with IBN. Because we became like an agency for stuff like that. It's like, well, we need people to do this tournament. Okay, we've got some people that do that game. Well, we're doing this other game too. Okay, well, I got a guy. And it was cool to be able to link people up with real work, and sometimes even paid work. This kid was like, if you get in esports, you'll make thousands of dollars, like me. Have I made thousands of dollars? I probably even, yeah, in a cumulative sense, yeah. And if the IGN Pro League would have continued, if IGN hadn't got bought out by Ziff Davis and been completely gutted and just propped up like a taxidermied skeleton of what it was, because people click on IGN.com for some reason still. They did then and they still do. But I had signed on with those guys, and I was going to make enough 4 times a year to go to Las Vegas and get put up at a fancy hotel and eat some of the best food I've ever eaten, and just live like a king for a weekend and then go back. And I would make enough that 4 times a year to live the rest of the year, because I was in extreme poverty at the time too. I didn't have to have much to live. But then you start talking about figurative money that you could have made in esports that was, you were on track to making it. I don't even want to go down that road. Because it's full of times and opportunities and different things where people are like, oh man, yeah, this is gonna go somewhere. And for one reason or another, they didn't. Well, shit, just doing an IPL 5, I mean, there was one guy in the industry that was just like, do you know you guys are uniquely positioned? There's nobody else doing what you do in esports. I mean, most casting groups focus on 1 or 2 games, or like just Blizzard games or just Riot games or so forth. But you guys do everything. You don't limit yourself. Like, yeah. Well, there was nobody else doing that. But right after that event was also the last major event that Riot Games did that was outside of their ecosystem. Because they got their own space, they got the houses for the teams, and they got the in-house casters. If you worked a Riot event, you worked for Riot and Blizzard, and they all did the same thing. They didn't really need as much independent casters anymore. So we pivoted to the indies, and that's where you got stuff like Hockey Question Mark, which continued on for another over a decade. But yeah, it's cool to have been part of that whole continuum, because, I mean, seeing all these guys in this league that were from that league and have been playing all this time, or at least were playing then and have come back to play now, and it's just wonderful to be part of that journey with everybody. And so all this feels like it feels right. It feels like a good thing to do. Also, it turned out I was right about Maki Ito going to Stardom. I mean, people were like, "No, that's crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's crazy. That's why it's interesting," and that's what happened. So, congratulations, Maki Ito. Unfortunately, we also found out that one of the greatest of all time, Saki Kashima, is retiring. And Saki Kashima is probably the most efficient wrestler that there is. I mean, she's either going to beat you in 10 seconds on a roll-up, or she's going to just get the hell out of there and go the fuck away and not get involved in the match. So, very smart wrestling. Maybe because of that style, she was able to preserve her career for much longer, even after having a couple of injuries. So we're gonna miss you, Kashima. But yeah, looking back on all that esports stuff, that era was probably the best it's going to get, because now there's just skeevy money from foreign interests and all sorts of just weird things going on. And I don't know, there was so much optimism at the time. And in retrospect, it's almost exactly like the kind of manufactured optimism that you see for things like crypto or AI. You know, it's going to be the next big thing, bro. You got to buy into this shit, dude. Well, esports had its day in the sun like that. Now, you got to remember that this is all coming off a time when poker became a big thing. You know, why would you want to watch people play a card game on TV? Why don't you just play the card game? Is what people would say. But it got really big. It got where if you were flipping channels on cable TV, you're at any time of the day, you could find at least one channel where people were playing poker, playing Texas Hold'em, the particular style of poker. And it was just kind of a craze, I guess. Like Guitar Hero or so. Like everybody had plastic instruments at one time. How do you explain it? I cannot. But esports, that was a good way to explain it to people. It's like it's the next poker, because you'd get the same kind of arguments against it, right? Like why would I want to watch somebody else play a game? Why don't I just play the game? Well, I don't know. Why don't you, bitch? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how Twitch TV got started in the first place. Shout out to, there's another influential person on the esports and Tribescast journey and all that, the co-founder of Twitch, old Ben, Fish Sticks. Shout out to Fish Sticks. He was the guy at Justin TV that took a look at the numbers and was like, he brought them up and like, hey guys, a lot of people are watching people play video games on Justin TV. Look at this growth. Look at these numbers. And they were like, holy shit, you're right. And his dad and his crew, they were all VC guys. So they got up some money and threw it together. And next thing you know, I'm abbreviating all this quite a bit, I think. But that's how Twitch TV got started. And Fish Sticks was always really cool with us at Tribescast, and he referred to me as the nicest guy in esports. And I was like, yeah, man, well, you see where that's gotten me, right? It's like, well, it's not my fault you pick such niche games to cast. And he did have a point. Or else they're probably doing Valorant or something these days. I don't know, but I just I never got much into the Blizzard stuff, and I never got much into the Riot stuff. So am I a real gamer? I don't know. By those definitions, probably not. And of course, there's still a few people that remember me for doing the speech about MOBAs are the devil on the official Razer Gaming channel at QuakeCon. In front of a live and captive audience. And I never apologized for that. And I will continue not to apologize for that. I wasn't wrong, was I? I wasn't wrong, was I? But even back then, we were talking about the damage that it might do long term, and that we'd have to come up with like rehab centers for people who got too into these MOBAs. And we're getting about to that age where a day of reckoning will come, and we got you. Okay, we got you. But yes, it was a time of great optimism. That was when, StarCraft was the big game. And I remember at that particular QuakeCon, that was a question that I was asking people. Do you think this league is going to be bigger than StarCraft? And the StarCraft pro that was there with our crew, he was like, "Oh, it already is, dude." And so that was around those times. And of course, the rest is history. I mean, the league went on to pretty much wipe clean the minds of an entire generation and destroy all empathy centers within the human brains of those. No, I'm really not mad about it. I'm really not mad about it. You know, you hate to always be the guy that points this stuff out. And, you know, even if you know you're not wrong, they know you're not wrong, but it's like Marge Simpson, you know, he didn't have to say it. No, I was compelled to say it. It's my love overall for the human species that compels me to say it, so I'll keep saying it. It don't do no good, but I will keep saying it. And we do plan to do more gaming here. I know I said that the last 2 or 3 times that I got on here, but tonight I'm just sitting here yapping. It's been therapy for me. Thank you for going back later and listening to this. I don't think many, if any, showed up tonight at all. I may even start telling people that I'm doing these and come visit with me and ask me stuff. There's no telling what I might tell you. I got a million of them. Or we'll just do a whole show on the orbology. Have you seen these videos? Some people are referring to her as the mind control Latina. Her name's Christina Mendez, and she's on Twitch. It says she's on here. I've followed. She hasn't streamed in 4 years, it says. So that's like this channel, right? But perhaps she will someday. But anyway, these videos are taking the internet by storm, and this is like I keep going back to that one QuakeCon in particular where all this happened. There was a song. There were a couple of songs they used to play on those StarCraft streams for people that stay up too early in the morning and watch them from overseas here. And they played a lot of the K-pop things that would go on to be big hits. And one of them was this song. Eventually, we didn't know how big it was going to get, but it was big among people who watched StarCraft, and it was called Gangnam Style. Ever heard of this? Remember this? Fellow named Psy. He did the little dance, you know, but Gangnam Style and all that. Yes, you remember this, right? Well, this was right before that broke. Because I mean, it didn't have a billion views on YouTube yet or anything like that, but they played it on, in between the StarCraft games. And at our booth, I remember that Rachel Seltzer led a group of people in the Gangnam Style dance. She stood up on top of a table and was doing it, and there was about 100 people out there doing that Gangnam Style dance. And I remember Dr. Killinger and I just kind of looked at each other like, wow, man, this is probably going to go somewhere. And sure enough, it did. We didn't realize how big Gangnam Style was going to be. Yeah. I remember talking to one guy about K-pop. He's like, why do you know this stuff? You don't know that Hyena? Still that bubble pop? What you know about that bubble pop? Oh, that's a classic, though. That video is still very entertaining because she probably changes outfits 100 times throughout the course of the video, but all she ever really needed to conquer the world was a wife beater and some Daisy Dukes. And that's all she needed. But shout out to Hyuna. I saw she collapsed here recently while performing that song, and hope she's okay. But yeah, Gangnam Style, it gave us that feeling of, okay, we're learning about this. We see that it's kind of popping among this group. We expect this to expand to a bigger group, and that's kind of where we're at right now with the Christina Mendez and the Orbology in those videos. They're all over social media. A lot of people are talking about it. Pretty soon it's going to go super viral, so you can get in on it now and think, oh man, I remember that shit back when nobody really knew about it. Yeah. One encouraging sign today is that in the Orb Discord, Christina Mendez, the orbologist, posted that she was not in any way associated with any crypto bullshit, that there was or no orb coin or any of that kind of stuff. And in fact, I think they banned most of those words from their Discord, which I thought was funny because I said it would be a really sad timeline if all this just turned out to be enticement for somebody's rug pull. And one of those crypto bros got so damn mad, he started talking about it. Crypto's this and that, blah, blah, blah. His comment just went boom, just zapped. It's like, well, there's your answer. The orb has spoken. But yeah, I appreciate that they're not trying to super duper commercialize it in that way. Like hawk to a spit on that thing type of mentality. We've seen enough of that, haven't we? We've seen enough. But no, this is something different. And Yeah, check that out. Learn about the orb. It may be what saves us in these troubled times, but anyway, I think that's about all I have for you tonight. Tomorrow, of course, there is PHL. The Pro Division starts its campaign. And we hope that you will join me, hopefully me, I guess me. I'm going to show up either way. And that's going to be on the Puck Hockey League Network. Just type it in, Puck Hockey League Network. You can go ahead and type it in right now and just follow it, because we're going to be doing stuff with them. And it don't hurt. Not too much, anyway. But that's going to be really cool. We might come over here and do a wind down after that. Not really sure. Well, first, I think a lot of it is just not knowing, the unknown. The not knowing of not knowing. All this might be slicker than owl shit, and it'll be no problem. Be like, why was I even expressing any sort of concern about this? Just trust the process. And I do. I mean, these guys seem like they're really on top of it. So it's going to be fun to work with a team, right? Rather than just getting my ass out of bed, turning on OBS, and you see where that gets us, right? You're looking at it. But no, it's a very nice operation what they're doing over there, and I'm very pleased to be part of it. I'll fit in wherever I can. Maybe doing some of the other divisions too, because I was talking to the Division 3 guys the night of their draft, and one of the guys was from the old hockey days, and he's like, man, we play on Friday nights. It'd be just like doing Friday night hockey back in the day. And so I may not be doing all of those, but I'll try to sneak some in where I can. I mean, to be honest, right now I don't have a whole hell of a lot going on, so I'm an ideal amount of free time in order to make this happen. But I also don't want to just monopolize everything, get people burned out on having to hear me do this stuff. But I don't know. I guess that's part of trusting the process too. I mean, I tend to be self-deprecating about it all, but I mean, I've been telling you these stories. There's people that are coming out and tracking me down for stuff I did 10, 15 years ago that I was pretty sure everybody had forgotten, or at least no longer gave a shit about. But maybe all this happening is just proof that perhaps they do. Just not as many as we need to get by. So we're gonna keep grinding. Because what else can I do, right? I'm Winters with the One. And I will see you very soon, hopefully. See, I gotta quit talking like that. I mean, I have to remember this is... Gotta let good things happen. Because I do believe that good things are happening. Hope you have a great week, everybody. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going. See you next time. Good night.